Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another session of The Sanctuary. This is our space for reflection, growth, and connection. I'm your girl and guide, Mariah Myles, licensed therapist, minister, and overall creative. And I am so glad that you're here with me today as we continue our journey into April. We're going to be jumping into emotional regulation today. And of course, we'll continue to follow along with the prompts from my journal, Busy Minds, Peaceful Hearts. So sit back, relax, do what you do. It's time to tune in. And so before we dive in, I've been kind of reflecting on my day. I did this training today. It's a 5150 training. And I think that every time anybody hears 5150, they kind of have an idea of what that means, right? I think we've heard it a lot in pop culture. So even if you don't know all the details, you have an idea of what that might look like. But it really stirred something inside me. I think this reminder of how easily we can mislabel people and how those labels can continue to impact their lives for years to come. Just think about it. A single label can shape someone's identity and their emotional experience. This really got me thinking about our own emotional landscapes and how we navigate them. And I know this isn't the first time that I've been thinking about this, but it continues to come to me. And you know I like to listen to those whispers. Emotional regulation is about understanding and managing our responses, not only to our own emotions, but also to how we perceive and label the emotions of others. It's powerful, this reminder that our words and our judgments, they carry weight, so much weight. They can shift somebody's whole outlook on life. So like I said, today we'll explore how mindfulness and self-compassion can help us regulate our emotions effectively, fostering that healthier relationship with ourselves and others. And so as we explore this emotional regulation, I want to kind of start with this idea of how our spiritual perspective takes on a different view. So many spiritual traditions really emphasize the importance of being aware of and accepting our emotions as part of the human experience. Emotions aren't just fleeting feelings. They carry important messages from within. Think of them as these little messengers knocking at your door. Sometimes they come in with a big surprise, and other times they're that quiet whisper I talk about. Hey, it's me. It's me again. You know what I mean? So learning about our emotions often starts in childhood, where we begin to recognize and label our feelings through these interactions with our caregivers and our environment, right? And our human brain just automatically does that. We automatically put things in categories, these boxes, right? You know, those moments when you were told you were maybe just too tired instead of actually really being hangry. Yeah? Okay. We all been there. This brings us to that concept of the felt sense. And that might be a new phrase for people. And it's a term used in somatic experiencing, also in focusing. It's our body's way of communicating emotions, often manifesting as physical sensations, like tightness in the chest or perhaps a flutter in the stomach. I learned a lot of this practice through my somatic attachment training from a facilitator who teaches at the Haikomi Institute. And I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. It really spoke to just kind of who I am as a person. So I want to share that with you today. because I think it has a lot of value. And I practice this with people of all ages when my clients come in, and I've had people even say, I've never done anything like that before. And I'm not saying that has to be your experience, but just maybe notice, right? Allow yourself to really pay attention, extra attention here. I invite you to tune in to your breath so that we can take that moment for our felt sense practice. And if you're in a comfortable position, that's wonderful. If not, maybe you want to find a quiet space where you can settle in. And I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And gently take a deep breath in through your nose. And as we begin, I invite you to notice the environment around you. What do you hear? What do you smell? How does the air feel against your skin? Just grounding yourself here in the present moment. Allowing yourself to shift your focus away from any mental chatter. Now, gradually turn your attention inward. You might start by noticing the contact between your body and the ground or the chair beneath you. You might move your awareness through your body. Perhaps you start with your head and down through your face, your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your legs, your feet. And as you do this, try not to force yourself to find anything specific. See if you can simply observe what's already there. You might use some descriptive language to help you articulate whatever it is that you're sensing. Maybe it's, my heart feels warm. My hands feel damp. Just allowing yourself to be patient and observant. Noticing even the most subtle sensations. Any pressure or tension, warmth or coolness. Perhaps a sensation of tingling or itchiness. And as you explore these sensations, try using as many descriptive words as possible so that you can really capture the nuances of your body's experience. Remember, you're not here to interpret or analyze your feelings. Just observe them as they are. Imagine you're a witness to your own experience, allowing yourself to take notes without judgment. You may find that certain words or phrases begin to resonate with your felt sense. And as you continue this practice, perhaps you repeat and explore it regularly to really attune yourself to your body's innate wisdom. You already have everything you need. And if you want to take it a step further, you might use this practice if you're facing a challenging situation. You can use the felt sense to explore your feelings about it. You might ask yourself, how does my body feel when I think about this situation? And see if you can sense where the feeling is located in your body. What kind of sensations are you experiencing there? And as you pay attention to the felt sense, you may find that it leads to a clearer understanding of that problem. Maybe even a solution. And you can always pause this recording here and stay in this practice for a little bit longer, or pause and journal what that experience was like for you. And then hit play when you're ready, because you know I'll be here. I got you. I really love this practice, and I hope, may it gift you with what you need. If you want to learn more, I definitely encourage you to read the book Waking the Tiger by Peter Levine. So again, might be a nice spot for you to pause the recording and take a moment with your journal. Mindfulness, along with moments of solitude, plays a pretty crucial role in our emotional regulation. Because we know that mindfulness helps us stay present and aware of our feelings, right? We already know that. We've been talking about that. But solitude, solitude though, it offers this unique opportunity for this really deep self-reflection and emotional processing if you let yourself go there. It's almost like giving yourself a mini vacation, right, from the world without having to leave home. Maybe it's like a staycation. I like that. But you can have solitude outside of your home too, right? I had an interesting experience this past weekend. I had this sense that I was like really being called to stay local, right? Not use my car. And when I say that, being called to, I mean my intuition, that whisper. But then Sunday rolls around, and not only am I really craving those long extended walks around the river, I'm also like, I need to go to the grocery store. So I take the long route by the trail along the river to the grocery store. But I make a conscious choice not to talk to anyone during my walk. And you're like, you might be thinking like, what? You're not going to talk to anybody? But I don't mean like that. I'm not going to use my voice. But as I walked, I also still felt that sense of solitude that wanted to be acknowledged. And I think that's where that decision was coming from. So I'm still being myself. I'm smiling at people as they pass me by, and for the most part, they smile back. I can't not smile when I'm out and about, or even in my home solo. But it struck me how each of us were in our own little bubbles, right? So we're moving through our day, yet we're sharing the same space together. But it's kind of weird because everyone's just doing their own thing, but somehow we're all in sync. Do you know what I mean? We're in the same place at the same time, doing similar activities, but to ourselves. I'm curious about that. But it's kind of like our own emotional journeys, because when we're learning new ways of being, we're stretching ourselves beyond what we thought we were capable of. It's like being a rubber band. And when we stretch, right? Have you ever stretched a rubber band? We might feel like we're at our limit. Is it going to pop? But that's just part of the process, right? Because when we let it go, it bounces back. But if we stretched it far enough, we might start to see a little give. Some might call it a relapse when we bounce back to old habits. And I won't go too much into that because, spoiler alert, that's next session. But really, it's just a chance to practice how far we can stretch ourselves. Each time we expand our emotional capacity, we learn something new. And with each stretch, we might bounce back. But we also build resilience and strength because now we know, oh, I can stretch further than I did last time. And then we might be excited or curious, how far can I stretch this time? Let's take a breath. Let's breathe in together. And let's let it go together. How does that land on you? This process of stretching and bouncing back. Because it's natural. It's a natural part of our growth. And I feel like it's okay to feel a little uncomfortable, right? Because we're just flexing those emotional muscles. And sometimes they need to rest. So I know we just got to play with the felt sense. Well, that was just a bonus practice because today's somatic practice is called the soles of our feet. And this practice really helps ground us and enhance our awareness of the present moment. That sense of stability and, of course, emotional regulation. Kind of like putting on a pair of grounding shoes, right? Without the actual shoes. Cheesy maybe, but I like it. So, of course, I invite you to begin by finding a comfortable position. Allow yourself to connect with the present moment by sitting or standing. And just ensuring that your feet are flat on the earth in some way, on the ground beneath you. And if you're standing, allow yourself to distribute your weight evenly between both feet. And if you're seated, allow yourself to feel your feet resting firmly on the floor. And gently close your eyes and take a few deep breaths here. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Bringing your awareness to the soles of your feet. Noticing the sensations of contact with the ground. Tuning into the surface, the temperature, any feelings of pressure, just imagine the roots that extend from the soles of your feet, anchoring you and creating this sense of stability. And with each breath, imagine drawing up energy from the ground, filling your body with warmth. And I invite you to remain here as you continue breathing deeply and just continuing to notice any sensations, building off of that felt sense. As you breathe, allow any tension to dissolve into the earth. Feel how being connected to the ground helps you feel more centered and present. And when you're ready, gently bringing your awareness back to the room or the space that you're in, deepening your breath, being intentional about that. And if your eyes are closed, perhaps opening them when you're ready. And taking a couple of deep inhales and exhales before we reconnect and move on. And as a reminder, you can always pause the recording to journal, tune in, or stay in a practice a little bit longer. As we wrap up today's session, let's reflect on the importance of emotional regulation in our lives. Remember, it's perfectly okay to have an emotional day because it's part of being human, right? So I wonder, what's one small thing that you can do this week to embrace your emotions more fully? And maybe you sit with that. Maybe it doesn't come to you right now. Remember that acronym of KISS, keep it simple. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this conversation inspires you to continue to embrace mindfulness as a tool for self-compassion and emotional growth. And remember, if your emotions start to feel like a telenovela, a soap opera, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this is all part of the big plot, right? That big plot called life. Next week, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek, okay? So next week, we're going to get into this idea of connection between self-compassion and regenerative healing. We're just going to continue to grow off of what we've been talking about. So what the heck is that? You got to tune in. We're going to discuss the cycle of healing and relapse a little bit more, just like that rubber band analogy today, right? Because let's face it, growth isn't always a straight line. It's not linear. And you might find yourself bouncing back and forth. And that's okay. Plus, we're going to address that super trendy buzzword, spiritual bypassing, versus genuine healing. And I think that there's like a critical distinction that can help you navigate your emotional landscape with more awareness and honesty. So be sure to join me next time as we uncover how self-compassion can be a transformative force in that healing journey of yours. But until then, Thank you for being here on whatever platform you're joining me by. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a session here at the Sanctuary. Of course, I'm still welcoming your experience. I want to hear your sanctuary voice. What does healing look like for you? Or whatever else you got that you want to share, because you know I'm here for it all. I don't get enough at work, right? I want to keep on diving deep and having these types of conversations. And you can connect at thesanctuarywithmoriahmyles at gmail.com, altogether no spaces, or head over to IG. That's my_Mariah. Although I did have a client who told me I needed to get on TikTok. I don't know about all that. Until next time, embrace each breath and remember our bodies have this innate wisdom, the beautiful, beautiful ability to heal itself. And we heal best in community. Love and light. Peace, y'all. While this podcast may feel like a therapeutic conversation, it is important to note that it is not a substitute for professional therapy or mental health. The information shared here is intended solely for educational purposes and should not be used as a replacement for personalized mental health care. Although I am a therapist, I'm not acting as your therapist in this setting. If you are in need of support, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional.